everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and we have a foundation review to do. I'm so excited. This is a foundation that you guys actually asked me to check out, I'd probably say a couple months ago, and I say that because I bought it a couple months ago and I just have not had a chance to review it, because every time I try to review it, someone else drops a new foundation and it's like, oh, just kidding, let's go look at that one. So today I am dedicating, there have been new foundations that have come out, but we are not thinking about the new ones today. We are talking about the Frankie Rose foundation. This is the Frankie Rose Matte Perfect Foundation. You get 1 fluid ounce, and wouldn't you know it, guys, I just so happen to have it pulled up on the webby site here. They are FrankieRoseCosmetics.com. It is $36. I picked up the shade China Silk, which is F101. There are 12 shades available on their website. And what does it say under details? It says, instant coverage, instant confidence, full extended coverage that's silky and lightweight. What is it? A perfect long-wearing matte finish foundation that will leave you with a smooth, flawless complexion. What does it do? Well, our long-lasting formula goes on satiny smooth with a flawless matte finish for all skin types. Okay, that's so interesting. China Silk, wow, when I drop the accent, God, does that sound weird. Sorry for those of you that are already annoyed that I used an accent. Move on. It says here China Silk has a neutral yellow undertone. So, like I said, this is $36, and I also picked up their concealer as well. One of them, I picked it up in the shade Angelic, and this is $25. So we will be testing that out today. And just seeing how they work together. So now that we know the deets, I'm so over spending time like reading about stuff. I'm to the point where I'm just like, let's put it on our face, you know, like I have to get there. So let's put this on. I do have a freshly cleaned and ready to go Real Technique sponge ready to kick some boudet. And as we've already talked about as well, I have been going in with a different primer on both halves of the face. I have already done that just because why not? I was like sitting here hanging out with myself. So on this side, I actually went in with the Origins Pore Perfecting Willow Herb. This is like the one that sprays out and is kind of foamy. I love this primer. So that is on this side while my, oh, I put it away. You know how much it shocks me when I put stuff away? I'm like, where could it possibly be? In the drawer? No. So on this side, I went in with the Peter Thomas Roth Skin to Die For. If you are new to the channel, hello. I use this literally all the time in these reviews, mainly because I like to do one primer that's which is this side, I guess. One primer that's more like a pore filling silicone kind of base that's just like that very thick, almost like a Smashbox kind of feel, you know, the very standard silicone pore filling side. I like to do one side with that, and then I kind of like to just mix around the other side. It started off, I wanted like a water base, and I've just kind of played around with it, so now I just try out a bunch of different stuff on this side. I try to keep them relatively consistent, not with like which one specifically, but like the type of consistency of the primer. But you know, you can't please everybody, and I can really only split my face in half, so it's good enough. And then over top of that, just because I love this myself, I do go in with a spurt of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I really love this stuff. I do feel like it helps kind of press in a way, or like help the primer soak in. I don't know. I feel like it sets the primer, and I just really like it, and I've used it a ton. So let's go ahead and take some of this China Silk Matte Foundation here. Oh, comes with this little lid thing. Let's take that off. Oh, a pump. Praise you, Jesus. And let's give it a shake, because we don't know. I feel like you should always shake your foundation, right? Unless it says not to. Okay, 3 hours later. So, okay, that's not a bad color. That was a lot of foundation I just pumped out. So, whoops. So, let's go ahead and, like, let's apply some foundation. Got you guys all scooched in here. And, again, this is freshly cleaned as well as damp. I love applying my makeup. I prefer it with a damp beauty sponge. And let's just go ahead. Okay, not like a bad color match, actually. So, that's nice. And let's see how the coverage is. Oh, okay, so it's not bad, actually. It, like, instantly goes to pretty decent medium coverage. Okay, or we could not have every hair in my way, thanks. Ooh, and when you guys see this, you will have already seen I'm actually filming another video today. So we will, that'll be linked, and we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. But you're going to get to see all this crazy hair twice. Oh, yes. Oh, wow, I actually really like the way that looks. Like, that was one coat, on that side of the face. And as you know, if you use a beauty blender, it does soak up some of the product. So I don't think that that looks bad at all. Like, hello. Not bad coverage. Sometimes it's hard to compare when you can see my real skin on this side. I actually think that looks beautiful over my pores and like in my texture and stuff. And it does a pretty decent job covering. Again, it's not full coverage yet, but I do want to build it up and see how nice and covered we can get this. Wow, that looks really pretty. Holy cow. So I do think it's building up pretty nicely to full coverage. There's only a couple areas where I'm a little bit like, like down here, there I have a little bit of redness that's not really wanting to cover as well, but it is super duper red, but it's covering everything else, so that's good. Wow, I like that. Now, would I normally apply this with a brush? No, I would probably apply this all over with a blender. I mean, we can take a flat top kabuki right here, which I have sitting out. I'm just like dusting it off. I don't know what it is. I feel like my flat top kabukis, more than anything, they attract like dust. Is that weird? Like none of my other brushes attract dust the way that a flat top kabuki does. Again, it's probably just me, but I'm like, what the hell? So let's take some of this on a flat top, and I need more because there was apparently none left on my hand. Okay, kind of apply this and see how we feel about it. See if the coverage is any more buildable or whatever. Sometimes I have a hard time believing that there are people that exclusively apply their foundation with a brush. Like, I don't know. For some reason, like my skin, I think it's because I have so much texture, I cannot apply foundation with just a brush. Like, it's just not an option. I don't know. Maybe it's, again, maybe it's just me. And I like envy people that can, that are like, oh, this is the brush I always use. Like I use it every day. And I'm like, how? How do you not use a beauty sponge or a beauty blender or something? I'm like, oh. Okay, wow, that actually looks really nice with a brush. Again, for me, it's not as smooth. Like it has tiny little stipple marks, but it's not bad at all. Like if you are a brush person and you prefer applying with a brush, you will probably dig this because it looks really pretty. Oh, wow. And it goes on really nicely. It doesn't like pick up whatever foundation was there before it, which is really key, I think. And I think it builds coverage, honestly, just as well as with a beauty blender. So that's really nice. Ooh. 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 I'm going to go in with my beauty sponge and I'm just going to smooth all that over. Again, you don't have to. I'm just meticulous. But that looks so pretty. Wow. And I feel like it went on really fast and it covered really fast. Like, I don't know. That's really nice. Just to kind of give you a shot of it compared to my neck, it is a little bit dark for me. I think on camera it appears a little bit better than it does in real life. It is a little dark, but it's pretty close as far as a shade match goes. So now let's try this fancy ass concealer here. Does it say anything on it? No, it does not. It just says our little secret concealer. Should we probably read just like a tiny bit about it? Like it probably wouldn't hurt. Probably wouldn't hurt to know what we're putting on our face. I also picked up some lipsticks and some lip glosses from this line. Like they had a couple kits and I was like, we'll try them. I mean, they're not like the point of the video, but just so you know, I'm also testing those out. It looks like they have 10 shades of concealer, a lot of which are very pasty or very white-ish. At least the swatches are on the internet. Not that that means anything, because I have a feeling that these little circles that they have that represent the colors, I have a feeling those are not even close to accurate. Okay, it is $25. You get how much product? Do we get to know how much product we get, or do I just have to guess? It is 0.27 ounces. All right, let's compare that to... Well, the Catrice Liquid Camouflage is right here. And this has 0.16. Did that say 0.27? Wow, okay, so it actually has quite a bit of concealer in there. How much does ColourPop have? ColourPop has 0.176, so this has a good amount of concealer in it for the price, 25 bucks. Okay, and a Tarte Shape Tape has 0.338, so this still has more in it, just FYI. They are pretty close in price. I think Shape Tape is what, right around 24, 27, right in that neighborhood, and this is 25. It doesn't have as much. Again, 0.27, Shape Tape has 0.338. So, let's go ahead. This is the shade Angelic, and oh, we were going to read about it. My God. What it is: a creamy, luxurious concealer that hides imperfections for a softer, smoother complexion. What it does: our secret is out. Okay. With this concealer, you'll blur the appearance of fine lines, dark circles, and any signs of fatigue. It blends easily and stays in place all day for full, natural-looking coverage. Available in 10 flattering shades, and this one is described as angelic, neutral undertones. So I guess that's all we get. Let's go ahead. We are going to apply this to the normal concealered areas, and we are going to set that with our Maybelline Fit Me powder, which this one's not open, so how about we find one that is? Huh? How about that, Paige? How about you learn what the hell you're doing with your life? All right, bring you back in here, and let's apply it. I kind of like this container. Like, it's just a nice, sleek little, like, classy packaging. Let's see. Ooh, okay, little flat applicator. All right. Oh, wow. I feel like this oxidized. The foundation did. Oh, okay. This is kind of dark. I'm not going to lie. Like, on camera, it's looking lighter, but like in real life, I promise you, it's not that light. Okay. It feels thicker, a little bit thick, creamy though. So let's go ahead and blend this out. Should have done one eye at a time. Didn't. Oh, my life. Okay. Oh, wow. That blends out, like, effortlessly and so fast. Oh, wow. That's pretty. Okay, what is this fuzzle on my face? Stop it. Like, you guys, literally, that blended out in, like, 3 pats. Like, wow. I'm actually really shocked, too, because this foundation is, like, super matte right now. Like, I can touch it and, like, almost nothing comes off. So I'm shocked that this concealer is, like, blending into it as well as it is. That is a beautiful concealer. I'm going to say after one coat, it's about medium-ish coverage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a touch more of the concealer, and I'm actually going to mix in a little bit of the ColourPop white concealer, because I need a little bit more brightness in my under eye. All right, I guess we're going in with this one, which, I mean, either way, yeah, look at how much lighter that is. And this is the shade 04 in the ColourPop concealer. And I'll probably use this to, like, highlight the other areas of my face as well. For some reason, I've noticed, by the way, side note, I know if you watched my recent favorite, I think it was the favorites under $10, or maybe it was the other one, I don't know. In one of those recent videos, I talked about the ColourPop concealer and how the shade 05 Fair, how it oxidizes on me so bad. And it's the only shade, like, out of all the shades I have that does that. I haven't noticed number 4 doing it really bad. Or number 2, obviously the white one stays pretty white, but number 5, oh girl. Okay, well, can I just tell you, that looks absolutely beautiful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this all over the rest of my face. Ooh, all right, let's set this concealer. Again, concealered areas of the face we set with the Maybelline Fit Me. I've been testing a bunch of other powders recently, but... and I know that you guys know that, so in full disclosure, I have been using other powders on my under eye, but when it comes to testing powders, I'm going to keep it super, super normal, because if we're testing stuff, girl, we got to keep it normal. We got to keep it 100, you know? It's very important. And I'm using that same damp beauty blender to apply that to the under eye and really press it into the concealer. I only use this powder where the concealered areas are. And then on the rest of the face, oh honey, air spun, extra coverage. We love this stuff. I love this stuff. It's so good, and I use it to set anywhere else on my face that does not have concealer. So like literally the rest of my face. And for this side, I kind of switch this over, and I like to use this large flat edge because it really just presses the powder into the skin, into the foundation, which is kind of what you're going for. You really just want to press everything in and make sure that you're really pushing all those layers together. That made a big difference for me as I've been like working with makeup throughout the last couple of years, is really making sure that when I'm putting on all these layers, you don't ever want them to like sit on top of each other loosely, because essentially what you're doing, if you let them stay loose, is you're giving them the, I don't want to say the option, but you're giving them the opportunity to really move around and kind of, you know, think about if you have like like boxes stacked on top of each other, and they're all just kind of like, oh, sitting there like willy-nilly on top of each other. And somebody walks by them, they have a much higher chance of kind of wiggling off and falling over or being disturbed in any sense. Whereas if you really, you know, pack your boxes or pack whatever tightly and you make sure that everything is stacked very nice and very neat together and really pressed together, it becomes more of like one unit that's a lot more difficult to disturb and ultimately tumble or tip over versus the other side. So that's kind of how I view all the layers on my face, very similar to that. Just making sure that they're all really nicely pressed together, and just, again, working this in, not making, you know, not wanting to work in too much powder, and just really pressing all the layers together. And that has been a huge thing for me as I've been doing makeup throughout the last couple of years. Just making sure everything is melded together like one big happy page face family. Okay, so this is where we're at thus far. I'm pretty impressed. I thought there was somebody at my door. It's just boxes that are piled so high on my bed, it looks like a person. But you guys, so far, I think this looks really beautiful. I do think that if you are not super oily, again, I have oily skin. If you're new here, hello. So if you don't have oily skin, I honestly don't think that would be a foundation you have to set as much as I just did. You'd be able to get away without setting it, or if you did set it, very little, just to whatever was comfortable for you and your skin, because that matte foundation, it went on in such a way that it dried down beautifully, not too much, not too like not cakey. It just kind of like set itself, and it was really beautiful. Again, I have to set mine because I'm that oily, but so far it's looking gorgeous. I'm gonna pop over, shoot another video, which you will have already seen at this point, and I'll be back on and we're gonna keep talking about this foundation here in a few when I get myself all situated. Alright, you guys, I got the rest of my face all finished up, and I just wanted to come back on here. Obviously, you will have seen this look already. If you didn't see it, I will link it right up here. It is the very first palette battle we have ever done on my channel. We went in with the BH Cosmetics and the Kat Von D Anniversary palette. We compared the two, we swatched, we had a whole good time. Obviously, we did an eye look. It was the thing. So definitely go check that out if you're curious about what's on my face and just all that craziness, because I go over all of it there. However, until that time, let's talk about this foundation and how really nice it looks. At this point, it is looking a teeny bit, and I mean like a teeny bit, dry. Like it's almost too matte. But we're gonna give it a little bit longer to really get like living into the skin. It's been on my face for about 2-ish hours, so normally it's a little bit more lived in by now, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm definitely willing to give it a shot because it did go on pretty matte. So, but I mean, honestly, you guys, it looks really beautiful. I think it looks nice on camera from what I can see, which is almost nothing because I'm blind without my glasses. But I like it. Like, it sits into the pores nicely. I think both sides are looking equally good. I'm getting a little cakey on the sides of my nose, but that's not too weird. My forehead looks surprisingly good, and so do my cheeks. Like, I'm really impressed so far. Everything is staying really nicely covered. Everything layered well. When I went in and did a little bit of nose, you know, contouring business, that went really well too. And a lot of times that's a telltale for me. When I hit my, where's it at right here? This is what I use when I'm gonna do my nose. This is the Real Techniques setting brush, and I go in and I do one of these right on both sides, and I do it real light. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, I had like a little piece of something right there. But I go in and this is what I use, and I don't ever do it vigorously, but any foundation that is not going to stick to my face will immediately remove from my nose when I do this. It's just the way my nose is. It's done it forever. So I always use this, and it worked really well. Nothing has moved. Everything is staying completely put. Again, a little bit too matte at the moment. I'm hoping that lessens, but we will see. I'll be back in a few hours to check in, and we're going to do a wear test, because I don't do that thing on this channel where like people do like, oh, I'm going to test a foundation, and they put it on and they're like, oh, I love it. Like, bitch, you don't even know. You could hate it in an hour. You're not good. I can't live that life. So, you guys, we are doing a wear test. I will step back on in a few hours, and we will see how all this wore. Alright, guys, here we are, a little over 8 hours later. I am so tired. I'm just exhausted today. It's been a long couple of days. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, and I apologize for those of you that I know just caught my yawn, because every time people yawn on camera, I catch it, and I'm like, before I know it, I'm yawning along with them. So, you're welcome, I'm sorry, all rolled into one. So, let's talk about this, this Frankie Rose foundation situation. First of all, I think it looks great on camera. I photographed this several times throughout the day because I was like in like this weird cheesy mood, and it looks beautiful on camera, number one. Number two, I like that everything stayed very nicely covered. That was good. That's always a big plus. The only thing I'm not really loving about this foundation is like this level of like almost where a little bit too matte is meeting a cakey look on my skin. And again, it has been on for over 8 hours, so I do expect some level of that. But I felt like even when I put it on, it was a little bit like, I love a good matte foundation, but it was almost too matte from the start, and I think that's what's making it look a little bit too cakey. Of course, obviously, you guys are gonna, you know, get zoomed in and you're gonna take a look. Honestly, I'm actually really impressed with how good my forehead looks. That's what's giving me hope here, because normally if I'm gonna get all kinds of cakey and nasty, my forehead would be like a dead giveaway. And the Hulk actually ate very little to nothing, and all of these lines through here look pretty good, which is a big plus. The only, like, again, issue I'm having around my nose, it does look pretty cakey, and everything around my mouth looks very kind of porous, and it started to get kind of patchy around there. So let's zoom you guys in, let you take a look at it, and then we're about done here. So you can kind of see up and through here what I'm talking about, like right around the nose area, and then how it kind of just looks more porous, like around here. And like the smile lines are a little bit settled, and you can see a lot of my texture through here that I really do feel like kind of appeared more throughout the day. I think that like overall though, the cheek areas look very nice. They stayed very nice, matte and covered. And then even up on the forehead, like, to me, that is a pretty good looking forehead for 8 hours. The Hulk barely ate anything, so he wasn't very hungry, which is great. And I think overall, even that concealer held up really nicely up under the eyes. Like, I'm really impressed with how everything wore. And as far as the texture in this area as well, just to point out, a lot of times when I add in any form of the Dior, whether it's the regular Dior or the undercover, this one gives a little bit more coverage. When I go in with Dior in general, it does help to smooth over these more porous areas and really helps them to look super, super just like slicked back and slick and beautiful. So I have a feeling adding in a little bit of the Dior will compensate for that part of it. Whether it's that Dior or the other one, I don't care which one, it'll still give me the same effect. A tiny bit of Marc Jacobs, I think, or some kind of like a shimmery, luminescent, maybe experimenting with like a luminescent primer or a setting spray. That might be really helpful there. So overall though, I do really like this foundation. For me, a foundation has to have certain properties. You know, it has to not be really settling. It has to really be able to last on the majority of my face, which this definitely does. It has to be oil controlling, which this definitely is. So I really do like the way this wears. I like the color. I think it's actually a pretty good shade match for me, which is nice. So you guys, overall, I really like this, and I'm super curious. I don't know if y'all have tried it or not, but I definitely think you should take a gander at it if you're oily and you're curious. I do not know, the one thing that they said in their description is that it would work for every skin type, and I don't know if I agree with that, because if this is what it looks like on my textured but oily skin, I don't know how it would react to dry skin, because dryness can be a texture, and I don't know how it would, you know, smooth over dry texture patches on your face, as well as, you know, deal with the lack of oil to kind of come through and pull everything together. So I don't know if you're like dry that I think this would be your jam. I don't know if I agree with that, but for the most part, you guys, I really do like this foundation, and I still think even after all this time, I think it's wearing really nicely, which is a big plus. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to always check out the description box for all my social media handles. That's where you'll get to see, you know, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, all that good stuff. I've been super crazy over on Instagram lately. I kind of like to go back and forth, and right now I'm kind of taking like a sabbatical from everything else and just really hitting the Instagram. So it's been a good time over there, and please do not forget to also comment, like, and subscribe down below. Let me know if you are one of the people that wanted me to try this foundation, and if there's another foundation that you're waiting to see, definitely let me know that as well. And you guys, thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I will see you in the next one. I got some Frankie Rose foundation. Is that even the name? Yes, Frankie Rose Cosmetics. I wore it for the day. I kinda like my face. I love my 80s hair. Not the point, but it's there. Look at me, I'm a rhymer.